Reducing the exaggerated inner critic. This is chapter 7. Hello and welcome again to this so important process. I'm saying that this is actually a freedom process, inner freedom. There are times in which people fight for their freedom in history of mankind. Usually they do it in groups, very prominent, loud, protests and movements in history. It's usually very impressive and exciting that people go out there and fight for the rights, for the freedom. And it's not easy. Many times it is painful. And there is a price for this. There are oppositions to people's need and wish to be free. We'll discuss it in this chapter, by the way. But generally, when I look at this process, I'm saying that this is a freedom process for the individual that usually doesn't notice that she or he don't have their inner freedom between themselves, inside themselves. As long as your inner critic is too strong, is exaggerated, has a strong impact on you, your freedom is narrowed and is even lower than you can imagine. So you may live in democracy, you may have relative freedom of speech or of movement. Not all people have these, but let's say you have. So you believe you share a freedom space with other people. This is not dictatorship, this is not tyranny. You are free. You are free to vote, you are free to choose, you are free to move, you are free to stop. You have a relative freedom. But inside you, you may fail to notice that your freedom is constricted, that you are not allowed to be free inside you. So how can you ask for freedom outside when everywhere you go, every way, every place you be, everything you do, everything you say has the taste, the scent, and the quality of narrowing your freedom. You are intimidated, threatened by your inner critic, and you don't even notice this because you get used to it. Your creativity, your spontaneity may be afraid to express themselves freely. Your true innate passion, you may doubt it. You may think that it is not appropriate to express your passion fully. People may not like it. It may not go nice. You may have make mistakes. You may fail. It may be awkward or embarrassing. And your inner critic is working their full-time job just to prevent you from finding your treasures. When you have enough courage to follow your passion, to follow your inner voice, despite the fear of mistakes and failures, and keep going until you do find your treasures, and they are there. But you don't have the freedom to pursue them as long as your inner critic is too strong. So this is why this is a freedom process. Chapter 7. Are we obsessed with what is familiar and ordinary in our lives? Do we invest, sorry for the noise, do we invest too many resources in keeping our routine, in not changing what we have, in preserving our assets. For a certain extent, this is very important for us, to keep, to guard what we have. But when we become obsessed with what is familiar, when we become too frightened from the uncertainty of change, then we start limiting ourselves and even hurt our current assets. The fear of change is always there. Another thing that we usually fail to recognize, because we like change, change is a positive word. I want to change. Yes, let's change something. And at the same time, we deny this strong opposition within us to change. Because change leads us to a new, uncertain place. And this is frightening. Intuition is guiding us to a foggy space where we will find new avenues and new ways of self-fulfillment. But it is foggy. It is unclear. This is how intuition works. It sends us to adventures. But if we are obsessed in keeping the current assets as they are, and yes, most of the time we are obsessed with this, then we create inside us a strong conflict governed by our exaggerated inner critic, a conflict between the urge to change, the urge for adventures, the urge for exploration, for creative expression, and the need to preserve, the need for confidence, for safety, just not to lose what I'm having now. It's important for us to examine this, to ask the question, and to have the courage to give ourselves the honest answers. Are we obsessed with the familiar things? And the answer is yes. Actually, the more we live a modern life, the more we get comfortable and technological, the more things are coming to us more easily, the harder for us to open our hearts to changes. It kind of numbs us. We are kind of sleepy with all this comfortability. It's so comfortable, and we are nurtured and we are given things easily. Now, why should I change this? Well, when you don't allow yourself to flow with the change every day, you're actually in a process of regression. Because the only natural and healthy way to be is by continuous changing, by allowing your natural creativity to express itself every day as a routine, as something constant, as something ordinary. You need to change in ordinary way. Yeah, this is the healthy way to be. And it's doable. But for you to find that it is doable, you need to learn how to minimize your inner critic and not listening to it too much. No. I would like to change every day. Do not stop me. It's okay. I will not lose my assets. It's okay. I will only enlarge myself. And by the way, there are assets that I may decide to let go of. So many noises today. I'm sorry. But my habit is to keep the videos despite my mistakes. So my inner critic will not rule me too much. So I made mistakes, but I will keep the videos. And I guess you will forgive me. I hope so. This is the way I do my best. If I remember, put it in flight mode, but sometimes I forget because I like to work immediately. This is just another way for me not to let my inner critic control me and make me be too ordinary or plan things. I just do it in a spontaneous way. I just do it. And I need to do it every day. And sometimes immediately, so I regain my flow. This is what I recommend you to do. Less planning, less preparing, more spontaneous initiatives. And even if it doesn't work completely, never mind, because your achievement is your flow, not other people's appraisals. Your flow is your biggest achievement. So, this is the question of this chapter. Are we obsessed with what is familiar and ordinary? We need to ask ourselves this, and we would like to start changing it and creating new habit, new routine of changing. We can do it. This is only a matter of choice and training, and we're going to continue discussing it in future chapters.